All right, good morning, everybody. I'm Lieutenant Blake Perrin from Fire Prevention. We're going to be going over steps to safety, some of the fire prevention things for senior citizens. So we'll start here. So a few things to touch on in the beginning here. At age 65, older adults are twice as likely as the population at large to be killed or injured by fires. By age 75, that risk increased to 3 times that of the general population and 4 times by the age of 85. 1 in 3 older adults will experience a fall, sending an average 1 in 17 to the emergency department each year in the U.S. There was 35% increase in lift assist from 2014 to 2017. Fire service now attends more falls and fires among older adults. These are a lot of the calls that we go to on the line. Older people falling, and it's a pretty serious issue with falls because a lot of the times people will fall, fracture a hip, a pelvis, something like that. Those are pretty serious injuries. They take a lot of time to recover from. So this is from NFPA, the National Fire Protection Association, steps to safety. All right, so fire's fast. Today's home fires burn hotter and faster than 40 years ago. Does anybody know why that is? What's that? Plastic, synthetic materials, exactly. It's not what they consider legacy furniture and construction. That's your natural fibers. That's cotton, wood, things like that. They add a lot of plastics to everything now. Synthetic fibers, anything from couch cushions, mattresses, anything like that. There's a lot of synthetics with that, so it's going to burn a lot hotter. It says, as it says right there. I need some water. Synthetic materials, lightweight construction materials, and open floor plans. The open floor plan, people love that. Back in the day, a lot of things were closed off, so it did provide some protection from fire to stop the spread of fire. Open floor plans, it just kind of allows the fire to go wherever because there's not much to stop it. Smoke kills more people than fire. You breathe in some of the superheated gases from fire or smoke. There's hydrogen cyanide, there's carbon monoxide, things like that. There's a lot of things inside smoke that can kill people. As little as 2 minutes to safely escape from the time that smoke alarms sound. So with the materials burning hotter, faster, things like that, it gives you less time to escape from a house fire after you hear the alarms. Is just all the synthetic materials. Up top would be probably what you would consider legacy. That's older furniture. It's probably more. What's that? Oh, thank you. Yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Lower, that's your synthetic. That's today's furniture. And then open floor plan. Exactly. That's exactly why it is. It's cheaper for the people to manufacture with the synthetic materials than cotton and wood, and faster to produce. You don't have a lot of skilled people making furniture. If you look at some of the older furniture, there's beautiful designs on that, and people either did that by hand or sat there with a machine and did it. Now everything's mass produced. So top causes of home fires: cooking, space heaters, smoking. There's just the pictures that go along with it. And then we have electrical and candles. Cooking is a big one. A lot of cooking fires, unattended cooking fires, people walking away from the pan. I'm sure some of you have heard stand by the pan. That's a big thing. A lot of times people walk away from the pan and they have something cooking, whether it has oil or whatever in there, and they come back and next thing you know the pan's on fire, their cabinets are on fire. And that's why we say stand by the pan, so things like that don't happen. People end up walking away from the pan, forgetting about it, falling asleep, things like that, and then all of a sudden The stuff inside the pan is on fire, and luckily, hopefully you didn't have anything other than just a lot of smoke in your home. Space heaters have come a long way. Some of them now, they shut off after a certain period of time. If you knock it over, if you put things on there and they heat up to a certain temperature. So space heaters have come a long way. They still are a big cause of building fires. Smoking, obviously, discarding of smoking materials properly. We're going to touch all of this. All right. So if you smoke outside, use deep, sturdy ashtrays. You don't want to use something like a styrofoam coffee cup or a cardboard from Dunkin' Donuts, things like that. You want to use a good ashtray. Wet cigarette butts and ashes before throwing them out. Obviously, you don't want to go ahead and just toss your cigarettes right in the trash. If you can, wet them, walk over to the sink under running water for 30 seconds or so, something like that, and then you can throw them out once they're a lot cooler so they will not ignite anything in the trash can. Never smoke in bed. Luckily in Massachusetts, the cigarettes are supposed to go out after a certain period of time once nobody's drawing on them. That's not always the case. They can start fires, so never smoke in bed, especially if it starts in your bed. You're going to potentially be in there and have some serious injuries. One thing that we see a lot, which I wish we did not, was smoking on oxygen. Oxygen is going to increase the rate of fire. That's one of the big things that create fire. There's the fire triangle, and oxygen is going to fuel that. Never leave candles unattended and keep them 1 foot from anything that can catch fire. The best type of candles is the ones that are in the glass, that are inside like a glass container, something like that. Don't really want to be using just the candlestick by itself because that can get knocked over very easily. Also, it can catch anything. If you have drapes, curtains, anything right by that. So never leave candles unattended. Keep them 1 foot from anything that can catch fire. All right, give space heaters space. What are some items that might be left too close to a space heater? What's that? Bedding, yep. Curtains, couches, anything like that. People are going to be putting these where they want to stay warm. So there's a lot of things that can be left too close. Some people will throw clothing or towels on top of it. Those are things that should not be on top of the space heater. Pretty much anything that's synthetic, cotton, anything like that, you want to keep away from the space heaters. Give it plenty of space. Keep heaters at least 3 feet away from anything that can burn, including you. Shut off and unplug heaters when you leave the room or go to bed. You don't want those going all night because they could catch something that's right near it on fire. Plug heaters directly into an outlet. You don't want to have those plugged into extension cords or anything like that. Extension cords are great, but they attribute to a lot of fires, especially with bigger appliances that are plugged into them. You don't really want to have anything plugged into an extension cord. Stay in the kitchen when frying food and cooking on the stovetop. Never leave cooking unattended. Wear short or form-fitting sleeves when cooking. So that's a big one as well. If you have sleeves that can dangle in the oil or touch the burner or anything, obviously the sleeves could catch fire as well. Keep a lid nearby. We already touched on that a little bit. If a pan of food catches fire, slide a lid over it and turn off the burner. Those are the biggest steps to make sure that that's not going to extend up and catch your cabinets on fire and anything that's in your kitchen. Don't cook if you are drowsy from alcohol or medication. I mean, it seems pretty self-explanatory. I mean, you told a story how you fell asleep while cooking potatoes. Also, a little bit of alcohol or medication. If you're taking something that makes you a little bit drowsy, you could just as easily fall asleep while you're cooking. So we went over what are some ways that you can keep yourself safe when cooking. What's that? Exactly. Yep. As we said before, wear short or form-fitting sleeves. And then it's always a good idea to have an extinguisher in your kitchen. That's not in here, but I'm going to go ahead and add that in. Having a fire extinguisher in your kitchen, if you know how to use it, is fantastic. Because if it starts going up into your cabinets or anything like that, you can hit that with an extinguisher real quick and really calm the problem down before it becomes a lot worse. All right, we're going to get into stop, drop, and roll here. That's if you catch on fire, you're going to want to stop, drop, and roll. Does anyone know why you stop, drop, and roll? What's that? Exactly, so it's going to smother it a little bit. It would be the same thing if you were to take like a fire blanket or even like a towel or anything and kind of smother it. It removes the oxygen from it. And so if your clothes catch on fire, stop, don't run, drop gently to the ground and cover your face with your hands. You're going to cover your face, obviously, so you can kind of protect your face if the fire is on your body coming up towards. You'd probably rather have burns on your hands than on your face. Burns on your face can be pretty serious. Roll over and over or back and forth to put the fire out. And for burns, use cool water for 3 to 5 minutes. And the most important, get medical help right away. If you have any burns, that can, lead to some serious complications, some infections, things like that. So smoke and carbon monoxide alarms save lives. Install smoke alarms on every level of your home, in each bedroom, and outside of each sleeping area. Interconnected alarms are the best option. When one sounds, they all sound. So newer smoke detectors, a lot of them, they're hardwired into the electrical. So they're up in the ceiling, whereas previously they were just standalone detectors. So you had standalone detectors. If it was on, you had a fire in one part of your house, you might not be able to hear that. If you have the option to upgrade to the hardwired detectors, that's the best option. I know that's not a feasible option for everybody. It does cost money and time and getting somebody in there to hardwire the detectors. So CO alarms belong on each level of your home. Anything that can produce carbon monoxide, so fuel, heating equipment, anything like that can produce CO. It's important. CO is odorless and colorless gas that can eventually disable you and kill you. Have someone test your smoke and CO alarms once a month, and then change the batteries when we change the clocks, just so you know that those batteries work. They do have now the sealed detectors that are 10-year sealed. They have the battery in there. So that would just fall into test them to make sure that they work, or have somebody test them for you if you're unable to reach them yourself. What strategy could you use to remind yourself to change your alarms, or to test your alarm, sorry? Monthly, I know a lot of people are probably not going to actually test your detectors monthly, just from the fact that you're not going to be able to reach them, and you might not feel comfortable getting up there. So one thing that you could do, a broomstick or something, if you could push the button, that's something that you could probably do on your own. That's how, when we go out and we do smoke detector inspections for like resale of homes and whatnot, we don't usually bring a step stool with us. We'll bring like a broomstick and just walk through, or like a little pointer, and you can push, make sure they work. Bed shakers and strobe alarms. If you're a deep sleeper, deaf or hard of hearing, or if you have hearing aids or cochlear implants, there are things that, for people who are hard of hearing, when the smoke detector goes off, they will connect to your bed, can kind of shake the bed, or you can install strobes inside your bedroom, so it will have a better chance of waking you up if you're hearing impaired. Plan and practice your escape from fire. If possible, have 2 ways out of every room in your home and 2 ways out of the home. Every home that you're living in should have at least 2 ways out. If you don't have two ways out, that might be like an illegal apartment or something like that. You really want to have two ways out. Make sure the windows and doors open easily. The last thing that you want to happen when you're trying to get out of your house to escape a fire is find out, oh man, that window doesn't open or that door doesn't open. If the alarm sounds, get outside and stay outside the house. Does anyone have a current home escape plan? So if there was a fire downstairs, depending, like if you live in a 6th floor, usually those buildings are pretty well fire protected. So you're gonna have what we would call like a room and contents or like a specific apartment fire. There should be things like fire stops and whatnot, so that's not gonna travel into the other floors. You might still get smoke into the upper floors, but usually in high rises or anything like that, they're pretty well protected. So that would be what we call shelter in place. So as opposed to everybody coming out of the building, especially if it's a assisted living or a senior facility, instead of getting everybody out for usually what's going to be a false alarm, it's a lot easier for everybody to just shelter in place, and you shouldn't be getting all that fire travel in a high-rise building because of all the fire protection. Do you know if your building is sprinklered? Yeah, exactly. So the chances are that's going to contain the fire. It's going to just be contained to that apartment. So that's why you would shelter in place in a building like that. Yeah, so having a home escape plan is important, especially if you live with others, so you know that everybody's out of the building. You know, have a place to meet, whether it's out front. It's going to be something stationary. Your plan should not be, okay, meet by the car, because that car might not be there. So you want to find something that's stationary, whether it's a mailbox, a tree even, anything like that. All right, what if you can't get out? Shelter in place. Close as many doors between you and the fire. So doors are fire rated, and shutting the door. Has anybody ever seen any of those close before you doze? And it will show you a picture of a room that was on fire, and then it will show you the picture of the room on the other side of the door that was closed. And it's one side is completely damaged by the fire, and then the other room just has a little bit of smoke damage. So the door is going to stop a good amount of the fire, at least while you get a chance to call the fire department. You want to place a towel under the door if you have it, blankets, anything. That's going to stop the smoke from coming underneath the door. It's going to allow you the time for that door to shield you from the fire and a lot of the smoke to not come in. And you'll want to stay near a window and call 911. All right, so know your local emergency number. It's going to be 911. Fire department phone number, you wouldn't really want to call that. You'd want to call 911 if your house is on fire. Once you've escaped a fire, call the fire department from outside your home. You don't want to be inside calling. The only reason that you would be inside calling is if you can't get out. If you can get out safely, get yourself outside, make a phone call. You don't want to go back in for valuables, anything like that. We have these big, what we call salvage covers, and we'll put them over stuff. If you have, expensive paintings, artwork, anything like that, furniture, family members have left you things that you don't want to get damaged. You don't want to go back in and get those things. The most important thing is all of you, so you want to get outside and stay outside. Plan your escape for your abilities. Have a telephone in your bedroom in case you were trapped by smoke or fire. If you have difficulty getting around, you definitely want a phone there. The chances of you being able to get up, go find the phone, and make the call, every 60 seconds, fire is growing. Everything burns hotter and faster. So if you definitely want a phone by your bed, whether it's a cell phone, a landline, anything like that. Keep needed items near your bed, such as a flashlight, glasses, walker, scooter, or cane. Those are going to be things that will get you outside faster and get people to you faster to help you. What is the safest way to prevent fires if you smoke? We touched on that. Make sure that you wet the cigarette butts, don't smoke in bed, and if you're gonna discard them in the trash, make sure that they are not still smoldering. Name some items that should be kept near the bedside. Phone, glasses, walker, scooter, cane, anything like that that's gonna help you get outside faster. Share a tip to help remind you to turn the heaters off when you leave the room. Right, so we have a lot of tools on the fire trucks. And so I don't know if anybody heard the question, but if you're sleeping upstairs, how are we gonna get inside? We are gonna break the door if there's a fire. So we have tools that allow us to break the door. We'll come inside, we'll get a hose in there, start putting the fire out, and then we have, so that would be like an engine company. They're gonna go in with the hose line, and then we're gonna have a ladder company. Those guys are gonna be coming in to search for occupants still in the building. All right, tips to help prevent cooking fires. Stand by the pan, keep a lid nearby, and then don't put water on a grease fire. You want to cover it to smother the oxygen. Got a few more slides to get through here, so I'll take any questions at the end, so I'm not holding up everybody here today. All right, preventing a fall. 1 in 3 older adults will have a fall, sending 1 in 17 to the emergency room. The first fall doubles your chances of a second fall. So it's kind of a circle here. You have your first fall, fear of falling, decreased activity, decrease in muscle tone and coordination, increased risk for fall, and it kind of just keeps going in a big circle. So exercise regularly if you can. Exercise builds strength and improves your coordination and balance. Tai Chi is an exercise that has been proven to help reduce fall risk. Ask your doctor about the best physical exercise for you. Even just walking. Walking is great exercise. A lot of people always say, I can't exercise like I used to. Walking is fantastic. It's gonna keep the coordination and balance, and it's gonna, build a little bit of strength and keep you moving. They say if you don't use it, you lose it. It's kind of the same thing with muscle tone and balance and coordination and everything like that. So take your time, get out of chairs slowly. I mean, even for myself, I'm 33 years old. I've gotten up out of a chair, and next thing you know, I'm lightheaded. All the blood rushed to my head, and all of a sudden I'm holding on to something. Getting out of chairs slowly is important, especially if you've been sitting for a period of time. Sit a moment before you get out of bed. Same thing. The blood can kind of rush to your head a little bit. You can feel a little woozy and whatnot. That's important to sit for a minute before you start moving. Get from laying down to vertical a little bit, just sitting on the corner of the bed. Sit there for a minute, and then go ahead and stand up. Be aware of your surroundings. What's the strangest thing you've ever tripped over in your home? I've tripped over a dog before too. I've tripped over a lot of things. I'm actually pretty clumsy at times. Got too much going on in my head, not paying attention, and next thing you know, I'm almost falling on the ground. All right. Some trips are great fun, others not so much. Kind of a corny little joke, but stairs, pathways, and walking areas clear. Be sure to remove electrical cords, shoes, clothing, books and magazines, plants and tables that stick out. Pretty much anything that's on the ground that you could potentially trip over. You want to keep the areas as free as possible of any clutter. So what can you do to keep the stairs clean? Well, obviously clean them yourself if you're able to. If not, ask somebody else for help to get some of the stuff out of stairwells. And that's important for us. Stairwells clear. If we come for a medical with the ambulance, and we have to use our stair chair to get you out, if you have a bunch of stuff, it's going to make it a lot more difficult for us to get you out of the apartment. Keep at least one hand on the railing. Best to have handrails on both sides of the stairs. Use the handrail up and down. Make more trips with lighter loads. So if you have to carry stuff up the stairs, unfortunately you might have to make a few trips. You don't want to be holding on to a lot of stuff walking up the stairs. That's going to increase your risk of falling. Improve the lighting in and around your home. Use night lights to light the path between your bedroom and bathroom. Stairways should be well lit from both top and bottom. Have easy to grip handrails installed along the full length of both sides of the stairs, and see an eye specialist once a year. As you increase in age, your eyesight goes a little bit. It makes it a lot more easy to fall. Sometimes depth perception, things like that. You might not see things that are right in front of you. Non-slip mats and grab bars in the bathroom. Use non-slip mats on the shower floors and outside of the tub and shower. Have grab bars installed on the wall in the tub and shower next to the toilet. Wipe up spills immediately. Spills are going to increase your risk of falling. Be aware of uneven surfaces around the home. Throw rugs must have rubber, non-skid backing. Smooth out wrinkles and folds in carpeting. Be aware of uneven sidewalks and pavement outdoors. Ask a friend to clear ice and snow from the stairs and walkways. Simple things like sometimes we see rugs will be all like throw rugs. There's a wrinkle in them. People end up tripping and falling over that. Wear sturdy, well-fitting shoes. Low-heeled shoes with non-slip soles are the best option, even indoors. These are safer than high heels, thick-soled athletic shoes, slippers, bare or stocking feet. That's going to give you the best grip for the floor. Make sure that you're not falling. Have a list of your current medications. Update the list as your medications dosages change. Put a copy on your refrigerator. Give a copy to a caregiver, family member, or friend. Add your emergency contacts and healthcare provider information. That just makes it easier for us when we come for a medical. We're able to see what kind of medications you're on, any health issues that you might have, so we can kind of figure that out a little bit faster. Review your medications with your doctor. Some medications can make you sleepy. Some medications impact your balance. Some medications interact negatively with alcohol and other drugs. And most importantly, take your medications as directed. Consider a medical alert device. If you live alone or alone for long periods of time, it's a monthly subscription, it's a wearable device, push the button in an emergency. I don't know if anybody has a life alert or anything like that, or knows somebody with a life alert, especially if you live alone. Those are great things to have. If you fall and you're unable to get to the phone, you just push the button. It goes to a monitoring service who calls our dispatch center, and they send us, and we go and check and make sure that you're all right. The best thing for us is when we show up and you accidentally bumped it, and there's no issue at all. It's not a nuisance or anything. We love coming there and seeing that the person that we're coming for is actually okay. All right, well, thank you very much.